Just a flick of the switch, and you're in bubble heaven.
Bloody cracker, isn't it?
Yep. She's a spar bar.
And as for the private 9-hole golf course he's hacked out of the bush, well, eat your heart out, Tiger Woods.
Stand back out of the way, brother. Stand back out of the way, boy.
How long ago did you play golf?
What? Oh, you missed it. What? Oh.
Isn't that grubbing?
Lucky we had the dog there to get the balls back for us. It would have been.
We had a great retriever.
Yeah.
He's a good dog, that dog.
He is. He is.
You can probably tell by this little exhibition that the folks around here aren't too fussed about possums either. They may look like cute little teddy bears, but they're not. They're pests. They've got teeth as sharp as razors, and these claws can give you a nasty scratch. And they carry tuberculosis that can get into our cattle herds.
Here's two here, Grant.
The best time to look for possums is at night time because they're nocturnal animals. So we're taking out this little night vision camera to catch them up in the trees or on the ground and have a good look at them. But I think Roger here's got some other ideas. Let's go, Roger. We're going to turn the lights out soon and just wait. And if they're there, we're going to see them with this. So, shh. Possums eat for a couple of hours when they first come out of their den. They gobble away in short bursts and then stop and groom themselves before eating again. There's 70 million possums in New Zealand, each of them eating a rubbish sack full of our rarest native plants every night. And we found one up here especially for you, Rog. So why are we bringing this lot back? Because the fur now is worth $45 a kilo. And this lot, ooh, about 20 bucks, I suppose. Got a bit of unusual smell, haven't they, Rog?
Yeah, and you're starting to stink like them too. Yeah, I bet you come and have a bath.
Sounds pretty good to me, eh? Let's go. Winning.
A potential gold mine, making pearls from power.
Why shouldn't I be rich?
But now, allegations of spying, treachery...
No. Time's a wasted. One of the great things about staying at Roger's place is that you've got all the advantages of nature right on your back doorstep.
Rover, give us the towel, come on.
So while I headed off down to the waterfall to kickstart the day, Roger was doing the honours with the quad bikes. Still quite a few deer out there in the bush. Roger and I are going to go out and see if we can get us one. It's hard sort of country out there if you get stuck out there, so you've got to be fairly well prepared with all the basics and a few luxuries like this one. An old bushman taught me this one. Get a bit of flour, get a bit of water, get a bit of yeast, mix it all together, whack it in the billy, bit of oil in there, like her. And she goes and put it in your pack, and by the end of the day, you've risen some really good fresh bread. Easy peasy, eh? Go on. And last but not least, one of these. Now, I know some old bushmen like to use soft leaves as botanical toilet tissue, but in my experience, you end up walking a bit funny. So why not spoil yourself? Right? Right? Come on, mate. Come on, Rod. The Ruahinis haven't got any foothills, so you climb real high, real quick. Oh, gee, that is one pretty rugged track you got up there, mate. Whew. How long did it take you to put that one in?
Oh, it was over a period of 10 years, Grant, and bulldozed it and surveyed it myself.
Legendary, mate.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Awesome, mate.
Amazing. And as you can see, the forest has changed at this higher altitude up here. And these are pahotia, aren't they, Rog?
They're New Zealand native cedar, is what I call them.
Is that right, pal?
Yeah, they have got two names.
Yeah? And how old do you reckon these jokers are?
Oh, this fella here would be 300 odd years old, and the one behind you there would be round about 600.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing shape on them, isn't they?
It is, and it's the design shape is for the snow loading on this at this altitude. Other trees wouldn't survive with the snow loading.
That's probably what's kept them here so long, eh?
It is. Yeah,
Amazing.
it definitely is.
Amazing. Come on then, let's go and shoot a deer if we can, eh?
Yep.
Red deer were brought to New Zealand from England way back in 1851. And a bit like the old possum, with no natural enemies, they just bred up like crazy. Deer have really good hearing and a keen sense of smell, so they hide at the first hint of danger. You track them by looking for what's called sign.
Sign here, Grant.
You're right, Rog. This is a sign of a fully grown hind come up this direction. Now, if it was a stag, it'd have two prong marks that I'll make with my fingers behind here. I've got a lot of respect for deer, but along with their mates, the possums, they're destroying our native forests. If we don't keep their numbers down, pretty soon there won't be a forest left for them to live in. Get a whiff of that. There's a stag up here. Males mark out their territory by urinating, as you do. And Rog would have got it too, if one of the camera crew hadn't stepped on a twig and spooked it. Oh well, maybe we'll get one after the break.
Monday Mania will tickle your funny bone.
In fact, I've been waiting for this moment since we arrived on this planet.
So have a few laughs on us.
You ready to proceed?
Monday, we've put two hilarious shows.
We've been out looking for deer sign, which is found by the way of hooves, deer droppings. During the mating season, which is called the roar, they call to each other. All sorts of different sounds. You got a favourite sound you got to call them up, Rog?
Yeah, I have, Grant. Yeah, we'll try this one.
It's a bloody good hind, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got a good stag here. What do you reckon, Rover? Hey?
Why, gee, that sounds like he's pizzling up well, Grant.
Let's get going, eh? Come on, Rover. When you're hunting in the forest, you got to watch out for all sorts of signs. There's some bait station markers, Pete. Just to putting the dog on a lead. That's the case. Like signs that people might be about. Because you don't want to shoot anybody. Like, say, the rare and endangered dock worker laying poison for possums. The Department of Conservation spends $26 million a year on pest control. For possums, that means attaching bait stations to native trees.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Nice day for a walk.
Rosie Bishop has been with the department since she left uni 5 years ago.
Have you seen anything? What have you been looking around today?
So I avoided the sexist question, what's a nice girl like you doing poisoning possums in a forest like this? And offered her a cup of tea instead.
Been out all morning already and more to go.
Like a brew by now then, do you?
I do actually. Yeah, I
Excellent.
do.
Okay, then we've got one here in our pack, so we'll have one,
Great.
shall we?
That'd be great.
Great.
Thanks. Thanks. Made scones too?
No, not this morning. Oh, here we go, here. Here we go.
Thanks.
Yeah, I hunted possums myself when I was younger with jaw traps. I bought my first
Okay.
motorbike from possum skins in the days when possum skins were worth a bit.
Things aren't what they used to be with selling possum skins, that's for sure.
Skins are now not worth as much as they were, but they really should be, because at the end of the day, it's a good way of getting rid of the possums. These V-traps here, Rosie, are they very cruel on the possum?
Well, they're not cruel at all. We just use them for monitoring here on an annual basis, so they're not used very often. And they're really a leg hold trap.
Right.
So they hold the possum around the leg, and the way we lay our lure makes sure that it does catch their leg, not their nose.
What are
or
you using for
any
your
other
lure?
part of
Flour and things like that?
it. Yeah,
Right.
flour and icing sugar and things that smell quite good.
And how do you feel about the next morning when you come to knock them on the head?
Well, amazingly, in these reserves, because of the ongoing possum control, we don't actually have to knock many on the head. Last year, over 300 trap nights, so that
Yep.
means 100 traps for 3 nights. We only got 3 possums
Wow.
from these reserves. So,
That's pretty good.
so it is really good. Numbers are really low.
Oh, that's winning, Rosie. Good to have a chat about that.
Great to see you guys too.
Yeah,
Thanks for that.
We got to be cracking on out to get up to the hut by dark, so we're off.
I've got these bait stations to finish, so
Really?
enjoy your walk.
We will.
Good to see you.
Hello.
See you. Maybe we'll see you next time.
It's hard to believe it. There's so many possums in the bush. There's millions of them, in fact. Especially during the daytime, they're hiding in the dens. But if you know where to look for them, they're there, all right. We're just going to take a wee look over here. You can tell by their attitude that not all possums play dead when cornered. They'll have a crack at you if they can. I think I'll call this one Stew. Not a bad stew it is either. Oh. And remember that dough we made up at Rogers this morning? Well, during the day, it's risen really nicely. And hey presto, whoo-hee, fresh bread. Look at that. Look at that. Pity about not getting it here, but them's the breaks. And anyway, in the bush, you can always make a meal out of something. See you, Rog. Get that in you, mate.
Good, mate.
Get it down you.
Mate.
Try some of our legendary Ruahine bread too. Come on, try it, mate. What do you think? Eh? Beauty, isn't it? Hey?
Yes, he's not bad, Grant.
Pretty good stew, mate. God, there must have been a big stag down by that wallow we came across, wasn't it?
Yes, it had a good print on it, Grant.
I'd get a bit of a taste for this stew.
I'd put too.
Well, that's it this week from Wild About New Zealand. We've had a great couple of days up here in the Ruahines. Didn't get to bag ourselves a deer yet, but never mind, you get that on the big jobs. So, it's hooroo for now, and we'll spot you later. Bye-bye. How you going? You right? That's the stuff. I'm Grant Latimer. This is my mate Rover. Today, we'll be following an old mouldy trail across the Southern Alps in search of ancient treasure, Pounamu. That's right, greenstone. We'll be checking out a couple of real ace kayakers on some rapids not far from here, putting our survival skills to the test, and getting up close and personal with some bush rats. So why don't you join us? Hey, good boy.
Pick it up, pick it up.
We're on a bit of a mission this week. We're about a third of the way up Harper's Pass. Where's that, I hear you say? Well, imagine this flax sandal sole here as Te Waiponam or Aotearoa, or the South Island of New Zealand. Okay, you watching, Rove? You've got Nelson and Marlborough up here, Christchurch down here on the east coast, Hokitika on the west coast, which puts us in the Southern Alps at Harper's Pass, just north of Arthur's Pass, here. Ooh, no, you can't have it. I know you love to get your teeth into it, but it's a very important part of today's program. You see, in the next few days, we're going to be walking an ancient mouldy trail. I'm going to wear this flax sandal, just like the people did 200 years ago, just to see how it stands up to the wear and tear, compared to my modern boot. So, I'm going to pop it on. And to protect their legs, the greenstone hunters would make leggings out of lace bark, which they strap on with this fine rope, also made out of flax. So come on, Rover, let's bail. Harper's Pass is named after Leonard Harper, who in 1857 became the first European to make it overland to the west coast, when he was guided there by 3 local Māori. They took him along an ancient greenstone trail, which follows the Hurunui and Taramacau rivers, and for over 10 years, it was the only way to get over the Southern Alps. It's going to take us about 7 days to follow in Leonard Harper's footsteps to a secret spot where I've been told the ancient greenstone hunters found their Pounamu. This is tough country, full of bogs. Locals call them glue pots. It's thick, sticky mud that sticks to your legs, pulling and sucking you down. Which reminds me, Leonard Harper nearly died when he sank into a deep mud hole around here 150 years ago. So we better just go carefully. When gold was discovered on the coast in 1864, that's just 6 years after young Leonard bushbashed his way through here, this trail became a sodden quagmire as more than 4,000 miners and their bullock teams pushed their way through, just like we are right now. Now, a couple of centuries ago, when Māori trudged their way to the coast, they travelled in family groups of up to a dozen people, including women, children and slaves. It took them about 15 days to trek the 350 kilometres to the coast, with each adult carrying back a 50-kilogram load of greenstone. That's about the weight of a couple of sacks of spuds. Māori also took their dogs with them. Not big ones like Rover here. Small furry ones called kuri, about the size of a fox. They used their dogs for hunting weka and other birds. And on the cold winter's nights, they'd snuggle up to their dogs to keep warm. And sometimes, Rover, they ate their dogs when their food ran out. But don't you worry, mate. I've brought plenty of tucker with us. I've got in here some dried eel. Just the sort of tucker that the greenstone hunters would take with them on their long trek across the mountains. Here, Rover, try some of this. Here, mate. Needs a bit of salt. But not bad. Anyway, time's a wasting. We're gonna get going, Rover. Come on, boy. We're making our way up Māori Gully, named after the greenstone hunters who once crossed the river at this point in canoes made from punga ferns. Tell you what, I could do with a canoe myself about now. Check these guys out. This must be what they call stunt kayaking. Looks heaps of fun, eh? Good. I'm Grant, this is Rover.
G'day Grant, g'day Rover. I'm Graham, this is Linda.
G'day Linda, how are you?
Yeah.
These crafts you're using here, they're pretty unusual. They look a bit like a surfboard with a cockpit on them. What are they?
Yeah, they're called sort of freestyle kayaks, and they've been designed specifically with doing those tricks in mind.
Yep.
So you can throw them around easily. You can put the tail or the front of the boat underwater, and lets you do some of those cartwheels. It's been sort of like a really slow evolution. So kayaks used to be really big and quite long, and quite cumbersome. And as people have got more into play boating and what they call rodeo boating, they've made them smaller and more manoeuvrable like this.
I saw you doing some roll over things and up and down things over there. Have you got names for that sort of stuff?
Yeah, plenty of names, Grant. There's, where I was going end over end in there, that's called a cartwheel, just like doing a cartwheel in gymnastics. Eskimo rolling, when you're flipping over. You've got split wheels, if you're doing cartwheels one way and then you flip and come back the other way. Stern squirts, where Linda was standing the tail up and just shooting up into the sky like that. There's lots of different, it's like surfing or any of those things where there's a whole language and jargon around what's going on, you know.
It's pretty cold and wet out there. Do you enjoy doing this?
Oh, not too bad. The water's pretty cool, but you wear lots of gear. You can see these space suits that we're wearing. They keep you fairly dry and fairly warm. And this spray deck means that water can't go inside the kayak, so you stay fairly dry in there as well. So the only time you get cold is if you have to sort of bail out and take to the swimming instead.
What is that thing you've got on your foot there, Grant?
This is a flax sandal. Oh, I'm doing a bit of an experiment, like the old Māoris used to over the Pounamu Trail, just to see how they hold up.
It's like you're wearing a salad bowl.
Good chatting to you guys anyway. I'll let you get going, eh? Hurry.
Yeah.
Amazing who you find on the Pounamu Trail. Anyway, got to keep moving on. Watch out for the brake.
Better watch your step, boy.
Bumbling millionaire Quincy.
So we're obviously not going to make it to a hut. So it's time to start thinking about some shelter to keep us warm and dry for the night. Right, what you do, you get your two main bearers and you lash those together like that in a tent-like shape. Then the same with the other end. Right. And then we lash our main ridge pole onto the A-frame. It's good to use brush like Manuka or Karnika for making your bivvy. Something with a tightly packed leaf. Keep out the wind and the rain. Right, if you didn't have a sleeping bag, you'd leave this side of your bivvy open and make a campfire here to keep yourself warm. But I have got a sleeping bag. You know, she's going to get pretty cool tonight, so I'm going to complete the bivvy to keep warm. Come on, Rover. It's time to turn in. See you in the morning. Come on, Rover. Let's get some shut eye, mate. In the wild, you often feel that you're alone. But the truth is, we share the wilderness with all sorts of creatures, some of which only come out at night. There are 3 kinds of rats in New Zealand. None of them are natives. They all arrived here with us humans. The first rats, Kiori, or Pacific rats, were brought to New Zealand by Māori, who sometimes ate them. Others, like the Norway rats, arrived on European ships and escaped into the bush. Rats don't live very long, a year or 2 at the most, but a female rat can have 30 baby rats or kits in that time. Rats have got teeth tough enough to gnaw through asphalt and timber, and they've been known to make short work of a human body. Day 5, and it's gonna be a cracker. Even the rare South Island robins come out of hiding to enjoy the early morning sun. The forest's starting to thin out.
With a bit of luck, we should find ourselves coming out onto the shores of Lake Brunner in a tiki or two.
Wow. Well, this is it. Lake Brunner. Whew. Named after Thomas Brunner, a European surveyor that first charted all this land in 1848. In an epic journey that took him about 550 days. So long, in fact, that all his mates had given him up for dead. Amazing. Stunning views, aren't they? Whoa. Whoa. Now, Brunner was actually one of the first Europeans to wear one of these flax sandals, which he reckoned were just as good as the leather boots. But I personally can't really agree with them. I mean, look at the state of them. Looking a bit sad, eh, Rafe? Yeah. I think I'll get rid of it and put my boot back on. While I'm doing that, why don't you go and check out that podocarp forest behind me here? It's pretty amazing.
Lake Brunner is home to one of the last remaining stands of an ancient podocarp forest that once covered the whole of the west coast. Scientists reckon the ancestors of these Rimu and Totra trees were growing at a time when New Zealand was still connected to Australia. Doesn't really bear thinking about, does it?
That's better. Back into the 21st century. Now, we've been following an ancient Māori greenstone trail across Harper's Pass for the last couple of days to a place where Māori used to look for pounamu, or what Europeans call jade or nephrite. And we're getting pretty close to the spot. So while you take a break, Rover and I are going to sneak on up here, see if we can't find ourselves a piece or two. So I'll spot you in a tiki.
Better watch your step, boy.
It's taken us 6 days to get this far, but we're almost in sight of our destination. A secret spot on a river on the Hokitika side of the Southern Alps, which we've been told is one of the places ancient Māori found their greenstone. But to me, whether we find some pounamu or not isn't important. Just being able to see beautiful places like this is treasure enough.
Right, well, we're here at last. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly where we are, because Māori treated pounamu as taonga, or treasure. Now, this pounamu meri was gifted to me by my wahine toa, as should all pounamu be, gifted. I'm its kaitiaki, or guardian. Before it was given to me, it was blessed by a tūhoi kamatua to ensure my safe returns from my journeys. So it's pretty special to me. Come have a closer look. Come here.
There's an old Māori legend that tells how pounamu was originally a fish that was hunted all around the country until it finally made its last stand in a remote part of Westland.
Beautiful, isn't it? No wonder the Māori regarded it as a gift from the gods. This, however, is a highly polished work of art. Let's go and see if we can find some up here amongst the rocks. Come on.
Because the Southern Alps of New Zealand lie on one of the world's great fault lines, some of the rocks around here have been squeezed and hardened by the movement of the Earth's crust into the gemstone, which we call jade. But they're not easy to find, and that's what makes them valuable. So even today, people search these gullies for the precious pounamu, just as the ancient Māori greenstone hunters did. In fact, there's someone now.
G'day.
G'day.
I'm Grant.
I'm Kilkenny. Good to meet you.
Yeah, you Lynn. This is Rover.
G'day, Rover.
What are you up to?
I'm just looking for a bit of greenstone, mate.
Oh, that's good. This is the bit you got here, is it?
Yeah, I just found that there. It's not a bad-looking rock.
How can you tell that it's the real stuff?
Well, it's the texture of the stone. Looks like a nice tight one, which means it'll be hard.
Right. Here's a bit. What do you think about this?
Now, that's leverite, mate.
Leverite? What's that?
Yeah, means it's no good, leave it right where you found it.
I will. So, what size do you normally get?
Well, they can be any size from sort of pebble size to, well, big pieces. I've had a 500-pound piece. You need a helicopter to lift it out.
Really?
Yeah.
And your tail is the same sort of dark colour as this, was it?
It can be any colour, almost any colour, from white through to black.
Right. And do you make pieces up out of it yourself?
Yeah, I've got a little bit here.
Choice.
This sort of thing I do. This one here, it's 2 waves. It can be a mother and child or father and child.
Yep.
2 friends or 2 lovers, and in a circle, which means forever.
So tell me, Lynn, why do the Maori treasure Pounamu so much?
It made such fine implements, such fine tools, because it held an edge, because it was so hard. And Maori needed good implements, and that was all there was.
They used it for decorative things too, didn't they?
This come later. Once the tool was destroyed or broken, then they could make other things out of it rather than waste it. So it's quite a valuable stone.
Well, thanks very much for that, Lynn.
Oh, that's good, Grant. Nice to meet
great.
you.
Yeah, likewise.
Hey, you're looking a bit weary.
Well, it's been a long way over those mountains.
How would you like a nice hot spring?
Ooh, sounds good.
Well, just down the stream here, around the corner.
Yep.
Hang a left, about 30 metres up in the bush on a rock terrace, is a lovely hot spring.
Ooh, winning, that's me.
You would love that.
Catch you later on then, eh?
See you later, pal.
Okay, mate. Bye, mate. Check this out. Oh, beautiful. Hard to believe that in the middle of the Southern Alps, we've got thermal activity. Now this is because the Earth's surface is very thin and the Earth's magma is heating the water. Let's wander on down here, see if we can have a bit of a place to stay. Come on. Well, that's all we've got time for on Wild About New Zealand this week. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I certainly am. So, I'll say hooroo. And just remember, there's all tomorrow you haven't used up yet. Spot ya.
Better watch your step, boy.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.